I've been trading for over a decade now, and for most of that time, I was doing it the hard way, stacking indicators on top of indicators, staring at the charts that look like a mess of colored spaghetti, and still second guessing every single entry. Then, I found something that changed my entire approach, a numerology-based framework that boils down all the tough decisions to simple math. Numbers 1 through 9, numbers 11, 22, and 33. That's it. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through my complete 5-step plan so you could take this system and start using it on your very next trade. I'm not going to gatekeep none of it. So by the end of this, you'll know exactly how to set up your charts, how to read the numbers, how to find the entries, manage your risk, and build the discipline that actually makes this work in the long term. Okay, guys, I want to share something with you honestly. So my charts did not always look like they do today. Back when I was trading using traditional indicators, my screen was packed. So what do we got? The RSI right here, the MACD below that. We got some moving averages everywhere, and we have Bollinger Bands wrapped around price. Sometimes I would actually even stack multiple time frames of the same indicator. And what ended up happening wasn't clarity. It was confusion. So one indicator would say buy, another one would say overbought. So instead of acting with confidence, I hesitated. And in trading, hesitation is expensive, dog. So I wasn't losing because I didn't have information. I was losing because I had too much of it. So that's when I realized something. The first step isn't adding more tools. It's removing them. This method doesn't rely on RSI. It doesn't rely on MACD. It doesn't rely on moving averages or Bollinger Bands. Because once you understand the numerical timing behind price, you're not trying to interpret signals anymore. You're observing structure at its foundation. This approach only looks at two things: price and numbers. That's it. So what does a clean chart actually look like? Very simple. So no oscillators, no lagging indicators, just price, your key time frames, and the numerical timing frameworks you're working within. For me, that means focusing on clear price movement, key session structure, and timing windows. Nothing else lives on the charts. And ironically, that simplicity becomes your edge because complexity slows decision making. Simplicity speeds it up. So let me show you what that transformation looked like. On one side of the screen, you have my old setup. Indicators stacked everywhere. Signals contradicting each other. Noise. On the other side, the current setup. Clean, focused, readable. You can immediately see the difference. One feels reactive. The other feels intentional. So let me walk you through this setup from scratch. Step 2. Let me introduce you to the core concept behind numerology and trading. At its foundation, markets don't move randomly. No. They move on mathematical patterns. Every price move, every expansion, every pullback happens within a structured numerical rhythm. Traditional indicators try to measure momentum, trend, or volatility after the price has already moved. But numbers, specifically the numerical structures behind the time and price, reveal the hidden framework price is moving through before the move even happens. So in our work, we focus on the numbers 1 through 9, as well as master numbers, because they represent a complete cycle of movement. Just like the markets move through accumulation, expansion, and distribution, and reset. Numbers move through phases of initiation, growth, climax, and completion. And once you understand what phase the market is in, you're no longer reacting, you're anticipating. Guys, before we go deeper, let's take a step back and understand the full numerical cycles that the numbers move through. Because in numerology, just like in price action, everything moves through stages. It is what it is. So number 1 through 9 represents a full cycle of energy. You could think of them like phases that the market passes through. The number 1 is the initiation, the beginning. 2 is balance. 3 is expression. 4 is structure. 5 is freedom. 6, home and family. 7, the number of knowledge. 8, money, power, karma. 9 is the number of completion and endings. Then we have what is known as master numbers: 11, 22, and 33. Now the master numbers exist outside of the normal cycles. Master numbers represent amplified energy, moments where something major is about to unfold. For example, the 11 is tied to emotional energy. The 22 is the master builder, master destroyer. The 33 is the number of influence. Wow. For this video, we're going to focus on that 11 because some of the biggest turning points in financial history seem to align with the number 11. Take the stock market crash of October 1929. 2 plus 9 equals 11. That wasn't just a bad day in the market. It was a shift that reshaped the financial system. And with this framework, that 11 energy is significant with market crashes, baby. So why do traditional indicators fail? Because indicators are lagging by design. You got that? The RSI, the MACD, they're derived from past price. That's 100% facts, big dog. Looking backwards, they tell you what already happened, dude. By the time an indicator confirms something, the move is usually already underway or it's already ending. But the numerical structure isn't measured by the past. Would you look at that? It's revealing the framework price is unfolding with. Markets just don't move based off of supply and demand. They move within timing cycles. Hello. And when you understand the cycles, you're not chasing confirmation. You're positioned ahead of the stabilization and you're positioned ahead of the completion. So instead of reacting to the market, you actually begin reading the structure. Okay, so very simple. What we are going to be looking to do is shorting the market on 11 days. Okay, so how do you figure out if the day equals 11? Okay, so if the day is the 11th, it's the 20th, 20 equals a hidden 11, or it's the 29th. Or if you add up the day and its total equals 11, then that is a 11 day. So for example, January 9th, 2026. So let's go ahead and count this up. 1 plus 9 plus 2 plus 2 plus 6 equals 20. 20 is a hidden 11. So you see it's the 11th, 20th, 29th, or if the day in total equals 11, that is when we are going to be potentially looking to short the market. So if you want me to coach you through this numerology framework one-on-one, click the first link in the description right now. Let me keep showing you though, because the more examples you see, the more obvious this becomes. Step 3, let's talk about entries, because this is where most traders really get lost. They're chasing signals, waiting for confirmation, stacking indicators. By the time everything lines up, that move is over. This numerology approach works way different. The focus here is on timing, specifically the presence of 11 energy. Now, let me be clear. We do not short the market on every single 11 day. That would be reckless and impossible to execute consistently. Instead, 11 days become watch days. After all, the 11 is the number of the visionary. So they tell us when emotional or transformational pressure may be building in the market. Historically, major turning points often align with this type of energy. For example, October 29th, 1929, 2 and 9 equals 11. One of the most significant market crashes in American history happened on that day. So what's actually the strategy? Let's talk about this. So on 11 days, we wait. We don't force trades. So we look for one of two things: the previous day high being taken out or a clear range form. Once that happens, we shift from watching to preparing. So we're going to stop watching and we're going to start preparing. Now we're looking for confirmation through price behavior, specifically bearish candlestick patterns, rejections, failure to continue higher. That's when we look for short entries, not because an indicator flashed, because the timing and the structure are aligned. And the beauty of this is there's no signal conflict. The framework either says watch, it says prepare, or wait. This is exactly what changed things for Brandon. So before this, he was system hopping, second guessing every single setup, and taking trades he didn't believe in. So once he started using this timing-based entries like this, everything amplified. No more guessing, no more forcing trades. And over time, he went from inconsistent to over 100K and prop firm payouts. Congratulations. Well done, brother. So let's go back through some recent days. Okay, here is a phenomenal example. So on this day, on February 11th, you can clearly see that we are looking to potentially take out these areas of highs and then look for a short. Okay, very simple stuff. Okay, so basically what happened was on the 10th, price hit this area, rejected. Now on the 11th, price came back into that area and then formed a rejection. And then this is where you want to actually be looking to short the market. Why? Because this is an 11-day in numerology. As I explained, 11-day is synonymous with market crashes. Now, is that going to happen on every 11-day? No, you need to know how to look for the patterns to be able to find this stuff. So this is the 10th. It made a high, basically hit this wick over here. You can draw your levels over here, one horizontal level right here, another key level right here at this wick. Basically came up, almost took out these highs, slightly took out this area. So basically what happened was on the 10th, price formed these areas. On the 11th, it retested those areas and then immediately dropped after. So for this example right here, you want to be looking at a potential short at this entry point right here. The reason why is because it rejected off of these key levels and it's an 11-day. So for this specific trade, you could have made a 5R return. The conservative bet would have been to go to 1 to 1.5, or if you were a risk taker, 1 to 3. That is kind of the standard model you want to use, 1 to 1.5, 3R, or if you just want to let it run, you can just let it run. You could have potentially gotten a 7R, but those aren't necessarily common, and you want to have something that you can actually do on a repeatable basis. So that was February 11th. Okay, so this is the 27th, which is another 11-day. As you can see, the previous day it hit these levels right here and it formed this range right here. So basically what we are looking for is for the market to give us a indication that it's going to go short, and you can clearly see it with this price action pattern that formed right here. So let's zoom in on this a little bit more. So you basically had this area retest, come back, form this wick, and give us a bearish sell signal right here on the specific candle on the 27th. Now the 27th again is an 11-day. Why? Because if you do the math, January 27th, 2026 equals 2020 is a hidden 11. Okay, so that was January 27th. As you can see, the same type of setup has hit. Again, you could have let this thing run. If you would have held on for a couple days, you would have potentially gotten 9R on this one trade. Again, 1 to 1.5 or 1 to 2, 1 to 3 is where you want to start targeting. Easy stuff. And let's look at the next one. It's January the 29th. Why? Because 2 plus 9 equals 11. So this is a day we want to look for the market to go short. Luckily, we've already had our range drawn. We had price retrace up into this, and then it went short right after that. So you want to look for a bearish confirmation candle, and you got that right here. If you want to be conservative with your stops, you could take them up at these highs right here, and you could have gotten an easy 3R on this trade as well. So we can do this on and on and on and on and on, because the number 11 is synonymous with market crashes and high emotions. So you see a lot of traders getting stopped out or trading emotionally on these days because they can't handle that energy themselves. Pretty basic stuff. Step 4. So here's the truth most traders don't want to hear. Accounts aren't destroyed because of bad strategies. They're destroyed by bad risk management, over trading, ignoring stop losses, trying to make it back. That's why accounts blow up. Here are my rules. Every single trade has a defined risk. Position size is determined by the stop distance, not emotion. And there's also a maximum daily loss limit. Once that's hit, trading stops. No revenge trading. No one more trade. None of that. Early in my career, this is facts what I'm about to say. I didn't follow this. I had solid entries, but I oversized them. I ignored my stops. And then I tried to win it all back. And it cost me everything. Not just money, but confidence. Once I locked in the risk rules, everything changed. Because survival comes before profitability. Step 5, build the discipline to execute. Guys, this is the final step. And honestly, it's the hardest one. You want me to keep it real with you, or you want me to cap? So you can have the best system in the world, but if you don't follow it, it doesn't matter. Discipline is what turns knowledge into results. For me, that means structure. Before the market opens, preparation, know the day, know the timing, know the plan. Now, during the session, follow the rules. No improvising, no emotional decisions. After the close, review. Always review. Every single day, you have to review your trades. That's where journaling comes in. Every trade gets logged, not just entries and exits, but decisions, mindsets, execution quality. Because patterns don't just show up in the charts. They show up in behavior. And journaling reveals where discipline breaks down before it becomes a bigger problem. The market moves in mathematical patterns. And once you learn how to read the numerology behind those patterns, you can see turns coming before they happen. So I showed you that today with real trades, real charts, real results. So you can take what you saw in this video and start applying it right now. Pull up any chart, track the numbers, and start looking at the sequences that I walked you through. But if you want me to coach you through this one-on-one, show you the advanced turn signals I didn't cover here, and make sure you're reading those setups correctly from day one, click the link in the description and I'll show you how my coaching works and how we can get you trading with this level of clarity in 30 to 90 days. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you in the next one.